You might be seeing this because you watched my previous recap of round one. So if you haven't, go check that out. It'll be right up there if I figure out how to edit. Um, and yeah, this is round two of the Rochester Open. So far, I drew my first round against the 1700, and second round, I was looking to, assert myself. Be like, okay, like I'm a threat to winning this thing. And sure enough, we were paired up against the n number two guy in the section. I said it wasn't a super strong section, so I felt pretty confident I could win it. Um, Considering how underrated I am, or at least I should be. And yeah, just quick before getting into the game, I'd like to say please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And yeah, enjoy it. So I opened up with C4, and already this is a surprise because I have never played this over the board before. Like I've played E4, I've played D4, I've even played Knight f3 at some point, but never C4. So this was going to be interesting to see how it goes. But I figured my approach to this game would be to flex a muscle I've been training for a while, which is positional chess, and just see if we could, squeeze him like a python. So B6, uh, and we get this rough developing scheme. Um, and I was curious about how he's going to play his cards. So he goes here, castles. We finish the development. Here I have to come up with a plan, okay? Where I've got this nice Botnovic setup. Point being, everything is focused on controlling these light squares. Okay? And now I'm like, okay, we have the light squares controlled. Everything's fine. I'm not really sure like what his exact plan is going to be. So we're just going to go and expand with F4. Um, Very, very thematic idea, which basically just means in these type of structures, it's a common plan, a common expansion. And to explain positional chess to anyone who doesn't know it, tactical chess is like brilliant sacrifices, like few move combinations that win. Positional chess is slow maneuvering of pieces, optimizing everything, and like squeezing your opponent to death slowly instead of, throwing a haymaker to their face. Um, and he goes here, knight d4, and I go f5. So I have already decided on my plan. I'm like, okay, at this point, I have my bishops open on the king side. I have all these things here, and if I can just close down the whole board, I'm going to be the only one playing on the king side. So we have zero play there. So if I can just somehow get him to play c5 or maybe a5 or maybe a5, then I'm going to be happy. And look at that. He plays right into it. C5. So here I was already very happy, but now I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? And I was definitely at a crossroads for a bit. But eventually I decided to go A4 because again, speaking of the plan to go to, I want to entice them into this. Maybe if someone like rook here, I can always go here and maybe here. Like there's interesting. Like it could cramp his position. And maybe go here, here, lock it down, and then I could maybe get something like this. So uh he goes A5, and now goal's pretty much accomplished, right? Like we have again, I can't see the eval in the game. This is more to understand for the viewer to understand like what's going on in the position. But in the game, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely better, or at least maybe the computer finds a way to draw this as black. But I'm like, look, I have this beautiful bishop. All of my pieces are just ready to go and slowly attack on the king side. So I develop my bishop. He moves his knight, looking to probably bring his bishop out. I'm not quite sure where this knight wanted to go. I thought maybe he wanted to do something like this. I thought it was interesting. And here I thought for a while the moves I was deciding on, um, were the moves I was deciding on, were H4, knight takes, and maybe knight B5. And the first move I considered was knight B5. And I'm like, okay, this is where my knight wants to go, but maybe he just like takes here. I take back with the A pawn. Um, and then he offers the bishop trade. I'm like, okay. Like I don't know, like maybe I should take here and then go here so that this knight is just uncontested. Or I could go h4 to just stop bishop here ideas, but I'm like honestly, am I really that scared of bishop there? And this just feels like it's going to be really hard to advance my G pawn, which is what I want. I want to, get throw everything to king, and especially because I spent so long locking down the board, I want to be able to start creating pressure and until he cracks, just try to open his king side. And so this move just felt like it made it hard. Like I would rather go here and here, or at least find a way to get the G pawn rolling. So eventually I decided on knight takes d4, which the computer says isn't great, but practically it's fine. He takes back, and now I go with my idea. Knight b5, just planning this this nice knight here, and pretty much I'm clamping down the whole board. He has this square now, which he goes to, immediately threatening my d3 pawn. So I go here. Now I'm looking to pressure this. I have no plans on taking quite yet because this is a positional theme in chess, okay? Which bishop of mine is worse? Is it my light squared or my dark squared? Well, the answer is it's my light squared because look, I have, let's count, one, two, three, four, five pawns on light squares. This bishop cannot go through these pawns, so it is really bad. Well, this bishop, look at my dark squares. They are all completely pretty much open, so I do not want to just take for a random knight. So this idea is more just opening up this, and now maybe this is an idea. He goes bishop here, looking to trade my knight. And here's the final chance where I think I should have played h4 because bishop g5 is very real, but I just missed it. The computer says go h4, completely stop the bishop, like full positional chess. But I was, you'll see why. You'll see my reasoning. So I go b3, takes. And actually, I did consider both options for a while. My thought with this is that exactly, I already put arrows, is that maybe he can get some kind of pawn break in the future. And going here, I mean, maybe if my rook moves, he can go here. But I thought it would just take him so much time to be able to get his rook in and infiltrate that this is how I want it to be. And I'll just, control this, and the entire board is locked down. Now we focus on the king side. He offers the bishop trade, and now I go h4. Point being, after takes, his knight has to move, and now I'm free for queenside operations. But we have to do some damage control because the queen's attacking here, and I thought for quite a bit. The computer wants me to play here, which is my first thought. But I was thinking after knight here, something like this and this. Yeah, exactly. Like he just like there are just problems. And I didn't like. I don't think any human likes having their queen just straight up attack because it's just knight goes back to this nice square towards the king and it's just free attack on my queen and it's like okay. Um so I just went here. I went queen e1 which the computer likes. Looking to go to g3 and just start operation on the king side. And he goes rook a7 because the difference is that after here I'm not making a big threat, which is let's say he makes a random move. This is a really big threat. In fact, I'm threatening to just win the exchange. I'm breaking open the center, um, and a bunch of other things. So he goes here, and I'm like, okay, I don't like that move because it disconnects the rooks. And this rook, it's so passive. You're moving out of the way of a bishop. Like, I understand why he did it, but I'm like, it's just so passive. Like, this can't be great. Um, but no, I decided which shows my lack of patience in chess. Because I just want to win. I don't want to be super patient, slowly prepare the position. I go e5 right away, and I basically say, I'm gonna crack open the center. I'm gonna get this bishop rolling, and kingside. I don't. Again, I saw this and I completely forgot, or like didn't forget, but I'm like, I diverted my attention from the king side to the middle and just general dynamics. So he goes here pinning, and I come up with a very interesting idea, which is rook a2. Point being, I want to go here, and it's actually a very fascinating idea. But what the computer wants, which I did calculate, is pawn here, takes, takes, although probably not takes back, probably like bishop here. Really? Oh yeah, because then the pawn takes. But what I calculated was knight here. I didn't really see anything here because then my queen's just under attack, and now his knight's just threatening to go here and here. And honestly, I just didn't like this. That's like the computer wants, but that just looked a lot worse for me. So yeah, I go with this little plan. Now he can't take because oops, you lose your queen. That's why him moving his rook here didn't seem good. The rooks are disconnected. You see, it's all coming together. Um, the computer says I'm worse, but that's against the computer, not against a human. A good human, but you know. And yeah, he plays Queen F6. And what's hard is I missed that move, and I feel like if I truly have the potential to be of like the 1850, 1900 caliber level, which I have proven to be able to play at times, I can't be missing moves like these. And so that's what I need to work on in my chess journey to be able to get to that master level as soon as possible. It's just like patience and not missing my opponent's like replies because I just think it's ridiculous that I just completely overlooked this and then suddenly this is guarded, so this is no longer a threat. And like he's threatening here, and it's just ugh. Um, and here I notice the detail. I'm like, okay, I think that my plan at some point is I want to get my bishop here. Okay, I want to get my bishop here. I want to pin this, or maybe here, going like this. But I can't do that right away because then he just takes and enters my king side. I'm like, okay, that's not ideal. And it's actually really hard to make a move here. So my move, I spent like 10 minutes here. My move solved about two things because I've seen this before in the positional chess lessons I've done, which is sometimes the best thing you can do is just slowly improve your position and say, you move. I don't have a move. So that's why King H2. Computer likes it quite a bit. Point being, I don't have many moves, and I can never be checked on the diagonal now. Now is the line that follows with Queen here takes, set it's open. When he goes here, this bishop is would no longer be pinned to my king. Because if we look back, and if his queen had ended up here in the line, my bishop would be pinned. So we go here. He goes knight f8 to open up the rook, and now it's pretty much a draw because his pieces are all stuck defending, and it's hard to make progress on his side. Um, I go rook g1, and he goes here. And here I confuse two variations, which is that I was calculating that if he goes here, I have this move, this really nice move, rook f6. And like, look at that. It's like inviting it to be taken, but obviously the pawn's pinned. And the point is, I'm just gonna like clamp a rook here, and now I'm just threatening to straight up trap the queen. Like big problems. The computer finds a way out of it. But I was thinking in my head, okay, this is really good. But he moved here in the game, and there are little details that make this move just a blunder, just straight up a blunder. And he told me at the game, he's like, yeah, you're playing really, really, really strongly. And then he's played this move. He's like, oh, that's a 1600 move because it's just a blunder. You may be asking, oh, well, why is that a blunder? Because he just took my he sacrificed his queen, and, and suddenly I'm down a full book. But as pure luck would have it, I have just enough, just enough threats where he has to get back material. He does not have much of a choice. Like if he goes something like here, he does not have a choice but to give him material. So he takes, and he guards his knight. And at this point in the game, my opponent entered about 2 minutes on his clock. So if we started with an hour on our clocks, we gained 30 seconds. He's down to 2 minutes, and I have like 15. So I am like, okay, he might make mistakes. So I have to be extra alert. I go here, attacking this. And again, this is where it starts to get really hectic because of time trouble. He attacks my pawn. I go here, and I offer a trade, which he declines. And I take, and suddenly I'm only down a pawn. He offers a trade, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think for a long, long time here, and it was, can I hold on to this pawn? And the computer says that after takes, something like this, the knight has to move back. I win. Yeah, no, I straight up win. I'm down a piece, but suddenly I arrive there first, and he's gonna lose all of his pawns, and all of mine are promoting. And I just missed this in the game because I'm low on time, he's low on time, and like the general rules when you're losing, don't trade pieces because the less pieces I have, the less drawing chance I have. So I don't accept the trade. I go here, he moves, and I go here. And by this point, because we're one of the last games going, there's a ton of spectators, so my nerves are up. Um, here, his king goes here because he can't move the knight. Oh, he can't move the knight because it's pinned. He goes here, and suddenly my pawn's rolling. Like he goes here, but check. I take a pawn, and now not only does he have a minute on the clock, and not only am I down a piece, but suddenly I'm winning because you see something about it. Neither of us knew exactly where he messed up, but something happened where now suddenly I have all of his pawns. In fact, I'm about to get his other pawn, and soon the material is going to be equal. And not only that, but how does he stop these pawns from going forward? If I just go here, 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 and here, how does he do that? And this is hard, especially for someone in 1 minute. And he goes here, and then I'm winning. And he blundered in a time scramble. And after all is said and done, after blundering a full rook to just a miscalculation, I beat a 1755. I beat the second best player. And in fact, if we look at the graph, put it in 83, I played an excellent game. Look at that. I mean, some things aside, like it says I performed like a 1900, which is about the strength that I could be. And yeah, no, that's how I managed to pull off a crazy time travel win. So hope you enjoyed and see you tomorrow.